Hi, everyone, and welcome to 2026. This is a pretty amazing time for us to launch a new book, which is going to be really relevant. But first of all, happy birthday, Jenson.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. Look, this is totally not set up. This is a very exciting day. It just happened to be my birthday. And I've had told you this, a little secret about my actual age. So Susan knows, everyone else doesn't. And you can find out a bit later on. I think let's keep that a secret for now.
Okay, beautiful. But I do know that not only is this book relevant, I think we were just chatting earlier, and you've got a living grandmother, correct? At what age?
She's grandmother Wong. She's actually 97 at the moment. About to fly off to Hong Kong to visit her in a couple of days when I compete in the Hong Kong Marathon. So I will drop in and say hi to her. She's 97, yes.
That is amazing. And you had another grandmother that lived to the ripe age of
101.
101. That's amazing. So you've got some great stories and some great experiences of living around people of an older age. And what I love about this book, which is so relevant to a new year, I think, which is important because what we're going to talk about is we did obviously a first book we did with Jenson around trailblazing, and you can grab that. There will be links below where you can grab that as well, about how to take control of your health, your vitality, your longevity through running. But now we've gone that extra mile. And what I love about this book is we've got this book where we talk about Longe-Vitality, and we're going to talk about what that means in a moment. The new science of soul, of forging a long, vital life. And don't we all want that? Because at the end of the day, we can have a long life, but a long life with vitality where you can, like you said, you're still living this amazing life, which we want, where we're still experiencing the passion and the love of life, not just being around for a long time. We're actually got that vitality that goes with it. So that lends me into what inspired you to explore this topic of longevity?
Thanks, Susan. Look, my interest in longevity grew from lived experiences through medicine, through my work as a clinician, through my family members, as you've outlined previously, and through my own personal transformation, as you've mentioned, through my book, Trailblazing. I've seen how people can live long lives, yet lose vitality early. There are others who continue to thrive well into old age. I lost my dear mother to cancer. I'm currently caring for some aging family members here in Australia and also in Hong Kong. And working with patients at different stages of their life made one thing quite clear to me, that lifespan alone isn't the goal, not the only goal. It's obviously health span. So I wanted to understand with this book why some people age with strength, clarity, and purpose, and while others don't, and how everyday choices, rather than what we're born with, the genetics alone, shape that trajectory.
Yeah, I absolutely love that because, like you said, to have a long life isn't a great goal. To have a long life with quality is the goal that we should be striving for. And when we know some of these tips that you talk about and the science behind it in this book, it really does give us that tools that we need to know. It's too late to worry about it when we've hit that old age. There's things that we could be doing now. I know that you haven't shared your secret, but I know that I'm the other end, another decade on you. So basically, it's really important. And I know through reading your book, there's simple things that we can be doing that really explain how we can have this, what we call longe-vitality. Explain the concept of that, because some people might see the title of this book and go, okay, what is that? And we talk about longevity and we talk about vitality. And so together you've created your own unique word and your unique process around that, or concept around that. Can you explain that to the audience today?
Sure. I mean, the word longe-vitality literally happened in one of the long runs that Dr. Ken and I, he's my running partner, we literally popped into my head. Longe-vitality is an amalgam word of longevity and vitality. recognizing that both concepts should coexist, because living longer only matters if those years are lived with physical capability, mental sharpness, emotional balance, and meaning, rather than focusing on anti-aging or disease avoidance alone. The concept of longe-vitality emphasizes how we live across the decades through movement, as I've shown, through running, nutrition, mindset, relationships, Susan, which we alluded to, the environment, and obviously having a purpose. I stress purpose because what's the point of living a long life and a good life, except if there's no purpose? So that's one of the key messages in this book. This longe-vitality is a concept which is rooted in practical, human-centered. It's an approach about aging well. It's rooted in both science and lived wisdom, as we will talk about.
Beautiful. I love that. And there's a lot that sets this book apart from other books about longevity. Can you just give us 1 or 2 points of what makes this book set it apart to other books out there on this topic?
I am standing on the shoulders of giants before me who have contributed significantly in the field of longevity. Whilst many longevity books focus heavily on the optimization, taking supplements, or leaning towards future technologies or AI, Longe-Vitality takes a slightly different approach. This book blends robust science with real human stories to show what healthy aging looks like in everyday life. And it's not just in the laboratories. This book emphasizes sustainable habits over extreme interventions, and obviously meaning over metrics. It's written for real people in mind, living real lives like you and I, Susan, and all the listeners and readers out there, offering a framework that is adaptable across cultures, ages, and physical abilities. So I think this is a very practical book, which I say to the middle-aged people that I see in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, it would be a very good opportunity for them to dip their toes in longe-vitality. And obviously people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who wants a bit of top up in their life, we can hopefully be able to help extend a few years of life, importantly, to inject some quality, and importantly, to stress the concept that we're going to have a bit of warmth and a bit of purpose in the remaining years of their lives. And hopefully it is my aim that it would hit home to those type of people in the middle age as well in the old age.
Absolutely love it. I know through reading it, there's been some great tips in here, and it really is about having that longevity, the vitality, the purpose, everything all in one. And there's so many great tips in there. You can follow Jenson on some of his amazing runs. I know that you did the inaugural run here. I think it was called the Ultra Trail Australian
Marla.
Miler. That was about 162 kilometers. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. When I was literally, I'm giving my age away now. Exactly. About a decade ago, when I started my health journey, I thought a miler was running 1,600 meters, which is 4 laps around a track, until I found out recently, or quite recently, that a miler, in fact, is equivalent to 100 miles or just over 160 kilometers. Yeah. I was able to complete this book as well as this miler. And I promised to myself that if I could complete the miler as a reward for completing this inaugural miler, that I would write a book. This is how it links back to longe-vitality.
Beautiful. And I absolutely love it. I think everyone should grab a copy because readers can really achieve so much from this science-based longevity advice. I think, like you said, it really does stand out as something different. And anyone can get something out of this. It's not just like you mentioned before for these people that want to become runners. There's so much in here that just shows people it doesn't matter when you start it, but it's not just for runners. Is that right, Jensen? It's really for people that want to learn on how to still use their body. It can be other ways of exercise and different mindsets and things that they can get out of this book to create the most passionate, long life full of vitality. So you don't have to be a runner. You don't have to start running. That's correct, Jensen?
Yeah, the other one I was going to mention, it talks about the incredible life that grandmother Wong that I've mentioned, who I'll be visiting on this Saturday, how she has ended up being the longest living person in her own family. And through her hard work, she wasn't a runner. She was an everyday citizen. She was a family member. She raised 6 beautiful children. She even partly raised myself and also my cousin. It's through climbing the hills of Hong Kong every day and carrying bags of groceries up a hill every day that she's been able to. That's helped her. So yeah, Susan, you don't have to be a runner to live to 100.
And I think what's so important, and I think, like I said, mentioned at the beginning, it's 2026, it's a new year. It's about really having a think about how do we want to live our life with longevity, with vitality, with purpose. Grab the book, learn so much, because we don't do that anymore. We don't walk. We go to Coles, click and collect now in our cars. And so we need to balance that out. We need to have a way of being able to take on some of those great things that by just general life, that your grandmother has taken, and why she's had such a long and vital life. So grab the book. There's going to be links below for you to grab this Longe-Vitality book and start taking on your life so that you can have a long, purposeful life. Is there anything you'd like to leave the listeners with today, Jenson?
I think the most important message I want to leave our listeners is that growing old doesn't mean that we quickly extinguish. It's actually about the concept of burning brighter and longer. It's when people turn 50, 60, or they're of retirement age, I think it's an opportunity to be able to, that we can grasp. And this book provides practical tips through research science and also through examples, like through people like my grandmother, as well as other famous people that are the super centenarians, those who have lived till more than 120 years, that there are practical solutions that can be offered and tried. And I think growing old can be great. I'd like to end by saying that, Susan, and to all the listeners, that we can grow old gracefully and with purpose and with a very good, relatively good quality of life as well.
Absolutely love that. Well, I know I'm on board definitely with this book, and it's a great read, lots of tips. So all the information will be in the links. Grab yourself a copy and start living your most beautiful life as you age with passion, longevity, vitality. I love it. Thank you so much, Jenson, for trusting us with another amazing book that I know I can't wait to share, and people to really start changing their lives, even in the middle of halfway through our lives, that we can start living with all that. So thank you so much. Get out, grab a copy. Let's live a life with Longe-Vitality.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, the team. Goodbye.